Namaste, all you mystical minds. Welcome back for another video. This is not your normal video. This is an eclipse season video. So let's jump in. My name is Chelsea Sonkar. I'm a Vedic astrologer and consciousness coach, and we are going to be going through the Exalted full moon in Taurus in Krittika Nakshatra with Rahu, partial lunar eclipse right now. Your November full moon video, and as you can see, I've got some sage out. We've got a lot of fire themes this month, so I'm just going to pop this little bad boy down here. I've got my flame going on. This is one of my favorite candles. We've got this really beautiful hand with the love heart here, just to illuminate the darkness that is the eclipse season. It's Wednesday here, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We have entered the sphere that basically the eclipses operate in, but the official time will be, as of Australian Eastern Standard Time, it's 7:57 p.m. Friday, November the 19th. And when we enter this period, we don't make any big decisions until after a couple of days after the 4th of December, when the solar eclipse will happen, and you'll see all of these themes coming out. So let's jump straight in. I just wanted to tell you guys really quickly, I've always got other things that I bring into these readings, and I've got this really beautiful deck of cards by Justin Mokiha Asar. I hope I haven't butchered his name. The Liquid Crystal Oracle deck. I love Atlantis and all these things. So there's the Atlantean Way for the Children of Light guidebook. So if you're a light worker, it's an amazing deck of cards. And I pulled out two cards just before I went in. The first one was Diapataz, and these lessons around the healing heart. So it's these themes of love around compassion, patience, non-judgment, listening, truthfulness, non-attachment. That's a huge one that I'm going to go into with this reading. Equality and respect, which is so important at this particular time with this access of the eclipses that you'll see playing out in Taurus, which is very much the sign of attachment, and then Scorpio, which is the sign of detachment. And this is why Rahu is supposedly exalted in Taurus, because it's an attachment, things that we're attached to. And then Ketu is supposedly exalted in Scorpio, where it's very much about these themes of detachment that are playing out. So with this particular card and this crystal, it's about looking forward, taking action, freeing our attachments and our expectations, because when you have an attachment to something, usually you have expectations or underlying expectations. Making your own decisions and being aware of where you've listened to other people and you're not really sure what your own inner guidance is. And the second card that came out was this Pyrite, which I wrote down. I have to read it out because it's so incredibly powerful before I even go into the astrology-based stuff. And this is Vedic Astrology, the sidereal zodiac, the true placements of the stars as you follow the nakshatras. Western astrology, tropical astrology will follow the seasonal placements, but this is following the moving constellations, and that's why we call it the true placements of the zodiac. So here, this Pyrite card says, if Pyrite has come to you today, it's about you're moving into the warm tropical waters of self-realization, mastery, purification. That's a huge word for this month. And healing of mental and personal power levels of self are occurring. This beautiful energy that surrounds you on this day paves a fearless road of joy and happiness. The sun will rise in your heart. And it's just fascinating because this is a sun nakshatra kritika that we are working with this month, offering the vitality that you have requested to change your life. This is 5D shit. Excuse the S-bomb, but here we go. Now, all of you must do is use it. Stand in your truthful focus and choose your path wisely. The voice of your soul has never been so present. Breathe it into your heart and take action. In Pirate's embrace, the time is right to do whatever it is you have put off and hidden in the back of your mind. Play in the shadows, that's lunar eclipse, of the self and release them, surrendering into the world with love, power, and wisdom. Listen not to the sounds of the world around you, for they are not yours. Hear the inner single sound that you truly are, and the peace, love, and oneness of the universe will be born from your confident spark. Remember, the only thing to fear is in the universe is your own mind out of control. It creates your perception and eventually your entire world, your reality. Be free now, choose life. And the affirmation here is, I am the divine I am. That is so incredibly powerful. You have no idea how many symbolistic words that were in there that relate to this Taurus axis where we talk about, surrendering and contentment and attachments. Literally this partial lunar eclipse, we're going into the darkness where the truth can be revealed. That's why we have the light, because when you're in the darkness, you can finally see what's going on. Because if the lights are constantly on, you can't always find everything, but we're going in with the torchlight and we're going to finally see what's going on. The moon is exalted at 3 degrees here. And because it's a full moon, we're full of emotions. We've also got Rahu here, which amplifies everything 10 times more. For myself personally, I'm in a Rahu Mahadasha, so I can really feel this. And I've got my Mercury in Krittika as well. So it's about this, almost, I know for myself personally, and those that know me well, that I can be the truth seeker, that, I do my best not to say things too sharply or too harshly, but it's about purification. You're just like, okay, I really don't want to beat around the bush. I just want to get straight to the point and speak the truth. This particular nakshatra is about purification. There's always a shadow side to things there as well, that I'll go through as we go through this particular nakshatra that's involved. But the reason it's exalted here is because the moon is stabilized in Krittika. Now, Krittika is also in Aries, and then it moves into Taurus, but it's more stable in Taurus, and that's why it's exalted here, because it's got that Venus quality, that contentment. Now, I forgot to add at the start of the video to do homage to Venus, so I'm going to just pause right here now and continue with the mantra. Apologies. Here we go. Om Himakunda Mirnalabam Tatyanam Paramam Gurum Sarva Sastra Pravakratam Bhargavam Pranamamyaham Om Hrim Srim Sukraye Namaha. Like sandal and jasmine that have been crushed, the foremost guru of the forces of duality, who expounds all the scriptures to the descendant of Bhrigu, we bow down in devotion. Om, we bow down to Venus, the emblem of love and attachment. There we go. So, as I was saying, Taurus symbolizes the second house. Generally, these themes around wealth, things that we own. I've got my phone here, a cup of tea, my stuff is all around me. These are things that wealth can be accumulated in, things that we are attached to. And we are being asked to release our attachments at this time. So you'll have things to work on the personal level, but then you'll also see things coming out on the global or the external level as well. The big themes this month: purification, releasing attachments, surrender, and hidden information arising for you to be seen. So again, I mentioned this in the November update, but you can see in the government, politicians losing their heads because Rahu represents the head, and it's that purification, the kata, that's happening here. Where we go into Krittika specifically, so it's the Star of Fire. If you've seen in the thumbnail that I shared for this month, you'll see the bull running through the fire, and it's got all its beauty and everything because it's Venus represented. It's determined, it's tenacious, it's a fighter for social causes, human justice. It's a spiritual warrior. And the deity for this particular nakshatra is the god of fire. And initially, transformation, and that's what we're working with. However, it's a full moon, so it's about full emotions, the mind, the emotions being released. We are surrendering. So it's also symbolized by the razor or the axe, but here I really felt the strong pull for the fire elements this month, where we're burning up negativity, unhelpful beliefs, unhelpful patterns that are no longer needed anymore on a huge level, like a global level, but then also on a personal level as well. And I don't know about you guys, but I know for me personally, I have had visions from my past coming up, stories that, are very uncomfortable. You can feel it in your gut, that don't serve me particularly anymore. And I had to sit down and go, okay, what is the belief that's coming up that needs to be healed? Stories that can no longer continue on with me after this point, that have to be burned up, literally. So I would ask you that this particular lunar eclipse, some people go outside and they watch them. I feel very drawn this particular time to stay indoors and meditate and ground. It's a very aggressive sort of energy that we're working with at this particular time. There's a lot of energy. It's great for transformation. It's not necessarily a time for setting intentions. It's about releasing. We are letting things go at this time. If you wanted to do something like a fire ceremony, for example, now I've got a bowl here, but I really do need like a yagam. I want to go down to, in my particular city, we've got a place called Bharat International, and like an Indian store where you can go, where they usually sell groceries and things like that, but they also sell these ceremonial pots and things like that you can use. I can probably buy one from there, which I'm planning on going to tomorrow, so that you can actually do an actual releasing ceremony. So I've got some stuff here that we can do together. Now I've got a couple of different beliefs here, just 3 of them, but I wanted to write this one down that's specifically for all of us that you can join in with. Which one was it? Yes, okay. So release all outdated and unhelpful attachments, slowing our collective evolutionary growth to love and connection and unity for all. So here we go. Now I've got my sage there that I was burning up before. Here we go. So we're gonna set this baby on fire. And you're literally, just how satisfying that is to just burn up that belief. And you can do this yourself, just make sure you do it safely. I'm just going to pop that bad boy in there. And you just let it go. Goodbye. And he's gone. So that one was for all of us. I've got a couple of others here that I'm going to do for myself later. But this fire ceremony, the purification going through the fire, you can burn incense, burn up old beliefs. What are you ready to release on a personal level? For myself, I know this not good enough or unworthiness pattern that seems to follow me around is something that I definitely feel very strongly. It's time to let go, because it's not going to get me to the next place that I need to be in my life. During the eclipse now, this energy with the fire can be really good for cooking. However, while the actual eclipses are happening, whether it's the solar or the lunar eclipse, I've generally been taught not to consume food during that time. And for the Australian Eastern Standard Time here in my city in Canberra, and you can check this up online, I believe that the start time is 7:46 p.m. The maximum time that it reaches that partial lunar eclipse is 8:02 p.m. and the finish time will be 11:03 p.m. And they believe that this is the longest partial lunar eclipse that we've had in 580 years. How crazy is that? Lasting about 3 hours and 18 minutes. I saw a couple of different things, so I just need to double check that. But the energy is, with this Taurus particular energy in Krittika, it can be a desire to create things. But the shadow side is that stubbornness, the destructiveness, the fieriness, so for me with Mercury in Krittika, it can be harsh communication and language. It can be purification through language, where I'm purifying and speaking about scripture, you know, you can see the light side of it, but you can also see the shadow side, how it can be used as well. So be very careful around communications at this time also. The sun too has now moved into Scorpio, and where we will have this solar eclipse in December on the 4th will be where the sun and that new moon, where the moon is with the sun, is where it will be with Ketu. So we'll have all of these themes coming into Scorpio early next month, in 2 weeks' time, where this leads up to. So the animal symbol here is the female sheep. The focus we've got is this desire attachments energy that I've been talking about with Taurus specifically. Now, Rahu in Krittika, Rahu is that obsession, that insatiable appetite that, because it doesn't have a body, Rahu and Ketu, the north node, Rahu, the south node, Ketu, the body, are separated. So Rahu just eats and eats and eats and eats and eats and is never satisfied. So what I would question is, what are you obsessively attached to that is causing you discomfort, discontentment? What do you need to purify? Where are these shadow aspects that are coming up for you? What is going to be revealed to you during this time so that you can release it and come back into a state of contentment and comfort so that you can transform? Now, if we talk about the Mahabharata, where, say, for example, Krishna, Lord Krishna, is sharing information to Arjun about, light and information and how we can find inner peace and follow our dharma and all these different themes. I also think about Gandhi in this situation, where even though things outside of us can look terrible, so for Arjun it was this war that was happening, and finding contentment within yourself, that is where the only way that you can control your outer situation is by going inside and controlling your inner situation, and that's where you will find peace and contentment. So if you're attached to what's going on outside of you, if you're attached to things that supposedly give you comfort, if you wake up every morning and go, if I don't have my coffee, I'm not okay, you know what I mean? This is what we're starting to question. And that's just a very small example, but it could be something completely different. Like you might be saying, I don't know what I'd do without my partner, for example, or you feel that you are not whole within yourself and that you need other people around you to feel stable and supported. Now, we all need love and support in our lives, but you definitely want to be asking these questions and leaning deeper into this so that you can come back into union and realize that you are not alone. We are all one. And every single path that we are on is just an experience of the divine split that is not really split, to come back into union. And that's what we are all doing on our own separate journeys. If you look at a birth chart, for example, you can see different minds having different experiences, and what is true for one person, what is true for another, could be a total illusion, you know what I mean? The beliefs and attachments that they have. But it's about coming back into alignment, understanding that every single person on this planet, being insect, etc., blade of grass, is having a different consciousness experience, and that we are all connected, even when you feel like you're not. That is the biggest Maya illusion, and you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I talk about this every single time I do these videos, but yeah, it's just a big reminder. So the lesson is to surrender, offer it up to the higher self so that you can regain contentment, santosha. It's one of the 5 yamas that is part of the 8 limbs of yoga. Go and research it. You will learn so much. It is the guidelines for life that I live my life by, and it has served me ever since the day that I learnt it a few years ago. That has really helped me find a stable path to work with my life. So meditating at this time is going to be really important. Like I said, don't eat during the actual eclipses, whether it's the lunar or the solar. Don't make any big decisions between the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. And we've got to look forward to, on the 20th, the day after this, that Jupiter goes into Aquarius. And this is where we come back to the power of the people, humanity uniting. And I know for myself personally, I'm in Australia. We don't see a lot of the protests on the news or anything like that, but there is So much going on. I live in the ACT, the Australian Capital Territory, the capital city of Australia. And, depending on your status of whatever you've chosen to do, whether you have chosen to get the vaccine or not, ACT residents can go where businesses have supposedly allowed them to. But if you go into New South Wales, you can't go anywhere unless you've got a vaccine passport. Now, whether you agree with that or not doesn't so much matter, but the fact is that there's a lot of themes around freedoms that are coming up at the moment, and you can see vaccinated and unvaccinated people coming together at this time protesting around medical status and our privacy rights being given away. And it is so, so, so important, because this lunar solar eclipse, that even though things can happen specifically at this time, we will see big themes coming out over the next 3 to 4 months where the information is going to go even deeper. So I feel that, leading through now and December and January and February, maybe even into early March, we're going to see some big, big, big stuff coming up that is going to specifically happen because of these 2 eclipses at this particular time. So that's everything I got for you guys this month. It's huge. Be gentle with yourself. Listen to your heart. You'll know what to do, and trust yourself, because all the information and the wisdom that you need is right inside. Just take the time to listen to yourself, ground yourself, come into the heart, and then ask yourself whatever questions you need. There's an amazing book that I think I've referenced a couple of times. It's called Unified by Roger G. Lanfer, and it was information that was channeled by Babaji, the Ascended Master. And so if you've ever read Paramahamsa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi, you'll know all about Babaji. I have a very personal connection with this amazing saint. And I met my husband the same day that I visited his statue in Varanasi in Kashi in India. And it's a course on becoming unified with your higher self. And I've been doing it for the last, about 4 to 5 months. It is out of this world amazing, and I have strengthened my connection with my higher self that is all about these themes of learning how to trust yourself, your inner self. You learn the name of your higher self, and being able to connect in the practices that I've learned in this book are so easy. You only have to read like 3 to 5 pages a day, and you learn how to connect in, how to clear your aura when you've got uninvited influences around you, especially with all the themes that are happening in the world right now. So I couldn't recommend this book enough if you feel connected to what I've just shared with you. It's called Unified by Roger G. Lanfer, and you can find it online, and it can help support you going through your own journey. Definitely don't skip ahead. Don't try to do the extra practices before you've learned how to do this. You get reviewing periods where you can practice every 8 weeks so that you can go through the things that you've learned in case you haven't solidified them, because sometimes I know life gets busy and you try to bring it all together. But now I know this video is getting a little bit longer, so I've got to pull it back in. If you liked this video, if it was helpful, please like, please subscribe. If you enjoy the content, share it with those that you feel that this message is going to help support others. If you've got any questions or queries, comments, pop them in the box below. I love to hear your thoughts and how this has supported you, or if there's any things that are coming up for you that you just want to share in general and connect with others with like minds. I will share more information about the full moon that will be happening in Krittika Nakshatra, and the day after we will see Mars passing over Ketu, and this is where these big, sort of energies will be coming up. Please, please, please be mindful of getting involved in any sort of big events outside that could potentially be controversial. Come into the heart, work from a place of love and not from fear, because this is so, so, so important, especially moving through this transformation energy. It's about surrendering. So this is the energy we're working with now, and I'll definitely put out more information in the December update and the December solar eclipse, total solar eclipse video that will be coming up for the 4th of December. Lots of love to you. Namaste.